Hello, Mark.
Okay.
Thanks for the chat today. We've just finished the third survey of the Hunter Central Coast Health and Medtech Industry Base. I think we've got a much better understanding now of the breadth and diversity of the companies we have here in the region, having developed HMIC, with you involved over the past 3.5 years. But what did the survey tell us about the sector?
The survey gave us a good indication of the sector. We had responses from about 35 companies, both small and large, and really showed that this sector in the past 3 years is growing, and is growing particularly in the areas of medical technology, e-health, like digital health solutions, and also what we'd call general health and wellness solutions as well. So we're building off a strong base of research, biotech, but also strengthening these areas.
Yeah, interesting. So when it comes to making sense of the composition of the cluster of health and medtech companies we've got here in the region, what did you see? What's the composition look like?
The composition is showing growth in that just over about half of the companies are involved in what we call service provision. So they're the companies that you expect to be encouraged to actually be moving towards this region to provide services to the already established companies. So that's where we see particular growth. And we can see that in terms of regulatory consulting, clinical consulting, people providing engineering solutions, those type of things. When we look at the companies that are principally building things, then we see it's about 1/3 is medical technology, 1/3 are producing digital e-health solutions, and then it drops back to, as I was saying before, the general wellness solutions, R&D, so predominantly the university, the health system, and those type of things.
Interesting. And what about the maturity of the sector? I think the assumption is that the region's health and medtech sector is quite young, maybe dominated by startups. But what did the numbers show about the age of the sector?
The numbers showed that essentially we're in a healthy state. We're approximately a third, in that about 30% of our companies were established in the last 5 years, showing that we have a growing region, showing that new companies, people are establishing and growing and being successful here. When we look at it as well, we see that about another third are approximately 10 years old or older. So they've been here, they've developed a footprint, creating a workforce, employing people. And then we have our last third, just a little bit less than a third, who've actually been here for over 25 years. Companies such as Whiteley, who's actually been in the region for close to 100 years.
And to build on that point a little bit more, Mark, we're supporting our industry base to grow, which means more markets. So do we have experience and maturity in exporting?
Absolutely, Kate. We have about 27% of our companies today are exporting into international markets. When we ask the question about do you wish to export, another 50% are actually saying they do wish to export, and they're actively seeking the support of HMIC, other companies, and also the government to help them move up to export their products and services. When we look at where companies today are exporting, about 56% are exporting to the United States, and then we see after that the Pacific region, so our local exports, and particularly companies are now wanting to move into the UK after Brexit, and also familiar markets within the EU. So we look at our main export markets are the USA, the Pacific region, the Europe, and the United Kingdom.
So another way to compare businesses in the region is by turnover. So how do we stack up?
When we look at the company's turnover, we're seeing it represented in terms of company size. 57% of companies are turning over less than $2 million, which is what we expect from service providers, small engineering concerns, those type of things. Looking at the other side of the equation, we can see about 20% of companies are actually turning over more than $25 million. So they're becoming significant enterprises. 6% of companies are turning over $50 million. So we're not just a region of small shops and service providers. We do have significant industry with significant turnover, which generates employment, export sales, and those type of things.
Interesting numbers. So let's go a little bit deeper. What's the composition of our local sector? So the majority of our local health and medtech companies are service providers. So who do they service, and what's their core business?
Their core business is split. About 60% of these companies actively service patients, which is great to see. They're not just providing widgets or tools or apps for other companies. They're actively selling directly to patients within the region and globally overseas. Another large portion are obviously collaborating and selling to those industries themselves. So we're getting a nice mix of people providing services, but also companies directly engaging with the health system, directly engaging with patients and selling their products and services in that way.
Yeah, right. That's what we're looking for.
Mark, I think
what we've discovered in the last few years is that our companies are active in traditional sectors in the region, mining, resources, defence. But they're looking for opportunities to grow and diversify, and they're looking to health for those opportunities. So what did you see in our industry base in terms of skills and expertise and technologies that would allow that transition or that pivot to happen?
We have a very wide base of skill sets in this region. It's not that we're all developing a single type of medical device for cardiovascular or that we're developing a pharmaceutical specifically around oncology. We have great capability from everywhere from image processing to virtual reality, augmented reality, digital application systems, drug resynthesis, medical devices that are everywhere from general wellness devices, physiotherapy aids, those type of things, all the way to fully implantable cardiovascular type systems. To support that, we have expertise around quality management systems, regulatory advice, export advice, clinical trials, all of these types of areas. So we have the building blocks to continue to grow this region. At the same time, we have a diverse structure that will help us answer the problems that we see in terms of healthcare, both today and tomorrow.
Mark, our region's known for being collaborative. I hear it time and time again outside the region that the Hunter's great at collaboration. So I think we all know one another, yes, but I'm wondering what the numbers showed about whether that translates to commercial outcomes.
Collaboration is our strength. Collaboration is difficult, but we know that when companies collaborate, as we've seen with statistics from our industry, they grow faster, they develop new and innovative products and services. And we see exactly that within our region. 76% of companies actively collaborate with the university. 60% actively collaborate with the health system. We've got the basis growing here. What we probably want to see more of when we grow further is companies actively collaborating more in terms of a matrix across the system, increasing the number of collaboration partners. But it's absolutely the case that due to our strong basis of one university, one healthcare system, it makes it easier for us to collaborate. By no means easy, but we're on the right track.
Very good.
That's
really interesting.
That's really interesting.
But are companies
looking to do more collaboration, say with universities and the health systems, to build on the opportunities for better and more commercial outcomes?
Absolutely. Companies in this region, industry in this region, see the benefits of collaboration. It's in our bones. It's in our veins, and they want more of it. 90% of companies say that they would like to collaborate more with the university. So let's work together with the university to make collaboration easier, identify those barriers that may exist, simplify processes so that it's easier for companies to actively reach out and develop joint projects with the university. Similar with the healthcare system. The healthcare system is large, it's challenging to access, but we can see through innovations, through the Hill at the new John Hunter precinct, that we can potentially answer some of these requests that companies have. About 60% of companies would like to increase their collaboration with the health system, particularly in the areas of access to clinicians. It's not easy to access a clinician. You try to call a hospital and say, I would like to talk to the head of neurology. It's probably quite a difficult conversation to get yourself through, and good luck eventually getting there. But if we can build structures that give you access to clinicians, access to what are the big real-world problems within the hospital system, so that our companies can adapt and direct their products and services to answer real-world problems. And lastly, we're wanting access in terms of clinical trials and being able to test our products, whether it's a prototype or whether it's a final design, being able to come into the hospital, work out what are the key challenges and problems we have, sitting down with clinicians, working through prototypes and helping us understand how to make these products better and deliver them faster to market. That's what we really need.
So just picking up on the clinical trials, I was really surprised, I guess, when we first started surveying the sector about the number of clinical trials that were underway here in the region. So what do the current numbers show us?
The current numbers, when we look at active clinical trials in the region, so that's between the John Hunter Hospital, HMIC, the University of Newcastle, and also the Calvary Mater Hospital here, shows that we have about 510 clinical trials active in this region. So that's clinical trials of new innovative products, pharmaceuticals, medical devices that are helping the health of people in our region. Importantly, 43% of these clinical trials are supported by large multinational companies. So large companies, pharmaceuticals, medical device, digital health companies are coming to our region to access our expertise, to access our systems, to collaborate with us. And that provides us with a fantastic opportunity for linking these large multinational companies with some of our smaller companies so they can learn about market access, regulatory requirements, market needs, those type of things, so we can grow together as a region.
So finally, Mark,
in the survey we asked some questions to get feedback on how our companies are feeling about the future. So what did they say about investment in their teams, facilities, R&D, and what does that show about how they're feeling about the future of the region?
Companies today are actively investing in the region. This is a growth story. When we ask people, what do you plan on doing in the next 12 months? And of course, they could do multiple things, not just one. We saw that 30% were stating they're actively investing in their facilities, building new facilities, getting new equipment in to build new capability. 50% spoke that they were going to actively increase their investment in terms of R&D, research and development. So that could be increased research within their own organization, but also potentially increased research with the university or with the health system. And finally, the 50% said they're going to launch new products and services onto the market. So what we can see is we're expanding our facilities, expanding our research, and delivering new products and services to help people's health and well-being.
They're really great numbers. Did they say anything about investing in workforce?
Absolutely, Kate. 82% of companies in the region state that they're going to hire and bring on more employees in the next 12 months. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's very positive for the future of the region. Well, thanks, Mark, for all the work that you've done in, presenting those numbers for us. I think they're really valuable, and they give us a great insight into what the health and medtech sector looks like at the moment and what it could be.
Thanks, Kate. It's exciting times for us.
It is.